Since we talked about J.J. Abrams, let me ask you a little about the difference between writing for television and movies as opposed to writing a novel. And after this, we'll open it up to anybody out there who wants to come up to the microphone and ask some questions as well. So start thinking about what you guys have for the gang up here.
Well, writing for television is, to me, it's sort of all writing. But writing for television certainly is a different skill than writing novels, because television, you're sort of, first of all, you're directing a lot of other people to do things for you. You're basically, it's almost all dialogue, because the sets, for the most part, already exist, the characters already exist, so you're just coming up with a story and figuring out how the characters get through it, all of which is not necessarily easy. But when you write a novel, first of all, it's a great deal longer. It's a longer process. You got a lot less money for it. But and you're responsible basically for everything, because even though people may know the sets, when they're watching a television show, they see the sets, they know where they're at, but even if you can tell them in a novel where they're at, you actually still have to describe it, you have to involve them in the setting. So it's a different skill set. I would say writing novels is quite a bit more involved and far less collaborative than working in television or even in film.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of what Dave said, in that writing for television is very collaborative. You have to not be protective of your words, because whatever you put down, someone else is going to revise. Even if only one or two people's names appear on the script, it's very likely many people on the staff had a hand in writing it or rewriting it at some stage. I remember when John Ordover and I wrote our first script for DS9, we had our story pitch, they liked it, we came in, we did a sit-down meeting with all the writers on the show. There's a big dry erase board, and you plot it out scene by scene with all the act breaks. They said, that's your outline, you have 2 weeks to go write your script based on this outline. So we did, we adhered to the outline exactly as it was given to us. We turned in our script. No lie, the exact words that came out of the mouth of supervising producer Hans Weimler was, oh good, the script is here. Now the writing can begin. Heartbreaking, just heartbreaking. By the time the actual episode aired, about 3 months later, I believe there were all of 10 words of dialogue that we wrote that were actually still in the finished episode. Sadly, they were like the 10 words of dialogue that are in every Star Trek episode. How long to fix it? 20 minutes. You've got 10. We wrote that. End scene. So, as Dave said, writing a novel is very different, where you're not just the writer anymore, you're now the director, the conductor for the reader. When you write a script, the only things you worry about are what we see, what we hear, specific actions that are described as minimally as possible. It's like writing extremely rigidly formatted haiku. And then you write a novel and you have to be concerned with all of the senses, not just sight and sound, but tactile, olfactory, taste. So you've got
and a point of view that is not the audience.
Point of view, yeah, that's the other thing too. Is point of view when you're writing for TV is omniscient third person from the point of the camera. It's easier to withhold certain dramatic details. But when you write a novel, you're expected within any given scene to choose one character to serve as the point of view, and the experience gets filtered through their perceptions, their preconceptions, their prejudices, and you have to write each scene sometimes from a different voice as you go through, and you have to decide who's the best point of view character in this scene if you have multiple characters. So it's a far more complicated process, it's far more in-depth. However, and as Dave said, it pays a lot less than TV writing, but the reward is different in that because you have more control, the finished result on the page is more yours. It's more about you speaking to the reader, you're communicating more in your own voice, communicating your ideas more clearly. And as a result, even though it's not as financially rewarding, I find it more creatively rewarding, because I feel like there are fewer filters between